And if, say, I do lose my job, where am I going to start getting them paid from AI? And so I started following a lot of YouTubers. But one thing that really stuck out to me was that even after completing my 4 year computer science degree, I'm sure there's people in this call who can relate. I could still not write a single line of code. I was the kid who was too busy obsessed with startups, and I was the sales guy in the startup. Why? Because my dyslexia just wouldn't let me understand the syntax of writing code. All those little brackets and commas and full stops and what, I could never debug any code that I wrote. And so that was a big limitation for me. And one of the biggest realizations, and thank God, because that relief of knowing that for the first time in history, I could focus on what the app should do as opposed to how the code should be written. And that's why today I'm going to be talking about from syntax to superpowers. I'm going to be talking about two things that people don't really ever put together. But these two things are very powerful when you pair them. The first one is vibe coding, and the second one is APIs. We're going to talk about APIs and how these two come together to create really useful applications for artificial intelligence. And if by the end of this presentation you still can't see uh, how your idea is going to come to life, I would have really failed. So let's have a kick at it. Now, a lot of you might have at some point tried to learn how to code. I think we all did at some point. You went through the very first YouTube video on Java coding and you were like, oh, damn, I need to find a developer to build my app. Or you just gave up on your app altogether. So the old way of doing things, and I say the old way because things have changed really fast. And not to say that people who know how to code or write code are in any way affected by this. In fact, you'll find that those people that have been writing code will be so much more improved in their efficiency gains. But this has democratized the ability to build apps for everybody. And why? Again, because we're not focusing on the mess of putting those uh, lines of code together, those objects, and so on and so forth. We are now focused on something different. And this is what we call the intent, what we want the app to do. The problem the app we have created is solving becomes the main agenda to the point where you can forget the code exists. And I kid you not, I have built 19 apps this year. 19. I have apps that have 55,000 users across 18 countries. And today I'm going to show you a few of those. But these are apps I've built by myself, and I can't even tell you what coding language is in the back. I can't. To save my life, put a gun, I won't be able to tell you. And that's because I don't focus on the code. Now, this is where my advantage has been hiding, is because I have understood for the longest time what my users want. For about 5 years at Microsoft, I was selling Microsoft's software solutions. So I got to speak to customers. I got to understand their pain points. I got to know what keeps them awake at night and what they're willing to pay for. And so, with that knowledge and understanding of the actual challenges that are on the ground, I am able to translate that into an application through vibe coding. Now, if you haven't tried vibe coding, guys, today's your day, because vibe coding changes everything. For you, you'll start to realize that even the apps that you used to subscribe for, I used to subscribe to an app at the gym that I used to, a workout app. Now I've built one for myself. I've loaded all my workouts. I track my reps and everything I do at the gym. All of that is just being built by myself, but also in the workplace, you will immediately become the most valuable person because you will be able to enforce what's called SaaS replacement. SaaS replacement is one of the biggest trends right now. And that basically means you used to have a subscription for a leave management system in the office. And now your intern can build one overnight, which means that you're going to save that $250 subscription you've been paying every month, um, and start using your own in-house application. But today I don't want to focus about workplace. Today I want to focus about how can you take the idea that you have, what do you need to form it into something that people are willing to pay money for? And if you're not following me on TikTok, Martin the AI guy, I'm I'm showing my journey building a company called Butternut, which is what I was introduced with today, and I'll show you in a while. Okay, so I want you guys to start thinking of AI and tech and building less of being the one who writes the code and more of the architect of the solution. Sounds obvious, but you'll see how things have really changed. The limitation used to be the code. And one would think that now that you can write code with simple natural language, that we should be able to build anything. That is not true. I see a lot of young developers who get into vibe coding making this mistake. And that's because there is still another limitation. You can only ask for what you can imagine. If you don't know that something is possible, you can't know that it can come to reality. And this is where it becomes incredibly important for you to be aware of what the art of the possible is. So, what is possible? It's, think of it like this: you want to create a building, and you're building right here in Kenya. One architect can try and make up stuff that don't exist, where materials in Kenya are just not available to build that thing. They're bound to become unsuccessful. Whereas if you know that uh, Nairobi, for example, is rich in stone, in glass, in steel, the kind of product you're going to create is going to be much more tailored. And this is where the knowledge gap exists. Okay. What is the capability of the system based on the intent that you have? And here are some examples. You have a clear intent that you want people to pay on your app, which is, I hope, everyone here, because we're not building for fun. So if you do want to get paid, substitute Stripe there with M-Pesa. Do you know what APIs are available with M-Pesa? Now, those of you that have tried, and trust me, I'm even having a chat with the M-Pesa team right now to tell them how complicated their platform is. But M-Pesa allows for multiple capabilities. One of them is the one that we're all very familiar with when we're shopping online, which is express payout, express checkout. So that's the one where you order something online and then you get that pop up where you have to put in your PIN. And once you put in your PIN, it confirms the transaction has gone through and you get whatever it is that you're paying for. That's a B2C API. So if you're selling to customers on the internet, that's the one for you. But there's 8 other APIs, I believe, including B2B. So if you want to settle payments between your company and pay out the invoices that you owe, that can be done too. If you want to pay salaries to your employees, that can be done too. But you have to know that those APIs exist if you're going to integrate them and make use of them in your platform. There's so many APIs out there, and these APIs are the way that our AI is going to talk to the tool that does the work in the background. For example, here you have Mapbox or even Google Maps. If you want your app to leverage that tool, whether it is to help a user find their location or to locate their property, wherever it is, you need to be able to pull that out from Mapbox. And the only way that your AI is going to talk to this tool that's working in the background is through the API. I will introduce another concept a little later, which is just the next level after. um, which is how we work. So, gosh, I always forget this one. I used to do the definitions. Trust me, most people don't even know what API stands for, but I believe it's application protocol. Who can correct me? Yeah, give me, guys. What's API stand for? API and apps. API.
Application Programming Interface.
Thank you. Application programming interface. Now, the opposite of that, when you're using apps on your phone, is a human programming interface. So you get to press buttons and swipe and click and so on and so forth. That's the human way of using these tools, whether it's going to be Stripe or Google Maps or whatever the case is. But for your computer, for your AI, the AI app that you're going to build is going to use the API. All right. I also did some research. Now, I haven't used these ones before, but if you go to blockchain.com, there are a lot of crypto APIs that you can use that leverage the blockchain. And I really encourage you guys to look at those, including ones that can get like market value for different cryptos immediately in real time, and so on and so forth. All right, let's talk about API literacy. So, if you have this clear intent, you know what you want your user to be able to do on the app that you're building because you have this amazing idea, but you don't have a bridge to the capability, you are going to crush and fail. So, there's a need for you to keep up to date with all the APIs within your ecosystem, especially when you're now building across various industries and you're supporting people within the real estate industry, the banking industry, and so on and so forth. It's important that you have a very wide array of understandings of APIs. In fact, whenever I am working, the first thing I always do is I ask my AI to list all the AIs that would possibly help me solve the problem that I have, and I'll show you that later. And the reason for that is because you want to first know what the lay of the land is. What are the different options that you have? And sometimes you'll find that you might want to work with Equity Bank, but maybe you're better off working with ABSA Bank because ABSA has a direct API that your app can call. But if you didn't know that, you're not going to have the ability to make that decision at that time. Okay, so we get it. APIs are this amazing way that your AI app is going to take your instruction, go work on it on the back end, and return something to your app. And the way that has been invented very recently, I think it was just last year, introduced by a company called Anthropic, is what's called a Model Context Protocol, MCP. And MCP is just basically the bridge that helps your large language model, whether it's you're using OpenAI or Gemini or Anthropic. That's how they go and talk to the API tools that we have implemented. These are called tool calls. Every time the LLM wants to do something, it makes a tool call via the MCP to get your stuff. Listen, guys, I'm not even technical myself, so I learned this on YouTube. Don't think I'm a PhD in any way or form here. So today what I'm going to show you, just after this in the demo, is that once you have your vibe, your intent, the thing that you're trying to do, and you have the domain knowledge, you're going to get tools that are very, very useful to normal people who are not in the business of building AI tools. And I'll give you an example here. So the architect, which is you, you're thinking, okay, I need to use the weather API to get data on where exactly the person is located, but also what the weather is going to be like for that location. And I need to send an SMS to the farmer in Kakamega or wherever he is, so that they're alerted that rains are coming. So all of that You're connecting those APIs to your app. The Python there does the decoding, the AI does its thing, and then the result is that it sends a message that says, rain is coming in 15 minutes, please expect it and get ready. That's how simple it is. You don't have to really go much further than that. But I want you to notice in this example how there were two APIs that were used. And it's usually when you're using a combination of APIs that you actually start to create big value. Yeah, and so just to reinforce the fact that you're the best typist or you're a keyboard warrior is not going to make you very successful in the future. In the future, it's going to be the people who truly understand how to solve people's problems that will be successful. And for you to know what's possible, you need to have a catalog of these APIs in your head, or at least an understanding of where the vibe is. All right. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let me show you. Let me show you something cool. So I'm going to start by showing you Butternut. Let's see if I can. All right. So this is an app I built called Butternut. And as was mentioned earlier, it's a very simple application that allows a small business that doesn't have more than just a regular Android phone to be able to create product photography that looks like they hired models, lighting, cameras, and the whole works without having to actually do any of that, just from their phone. So here I've loaded some templates. There's different templates you can choose for different types of products, whether it's sneakers. I mean, we even have wigs and hair here. So whatever you pretty much want, you will be able to get here. And I want to show you how it works. So let's just pick a simple one. So let's just say you want a clean background. You can go to the gallery. Let's pick this product. Okay, so we've uploaded an image. Typically, that image wouldn't be as nice. It would just be a regular photo from a phone, but we'll use this for now. And then you click create. Now, as you see, it's generating here. What is happening is that a tool call is being made to the Google Nano Banana API. And this is done via an n8n workflow, but that's not the point right now. That API is doing its work. And within seconds, my app gets a return from that API. And just like that, everything has been removed. I just have my clean product, which I can now load onto a store for people to buy. So that's a simple example of how this tool call is happening in the back. If you want to make it slightly more interesting, I have this magic function. So this means that you don't even have to pick a template. And what it will do is when you select a product, let's just say, okay, let's use this one again. This is the product. What it will do is it will first send the image to a marketing AI. That marketing AI will analyze the image. It will think, okay, what's the best way that I can actually present this image? Then that marketing AI will tell the image AI, I want an image like this because I now know this product and I know how we can present it so that it sells the most. And so you click create. And notice how all my app is doing is packaging the ability of these APIs to solve the very simple problem that small business owners in Kenya have, which is the ability to make their products look beautiful. So it does its work in the background, and there, just like that, it was intelligent enough to know that this is a butter that you can apply on your skin. It's already loaded that. It found a model. The AI knows that this is in Kenya, so we need Kenya-specific models and context. It has done all of that right here. Now, what you see here is that I obviously have credits. Every time you generate an image, you use a credit. You can top up your credits here by paying for them via M-Pesa. So you enter your number and you get paid. And I have been running this app now for 2.5 months. I have a goal of getting to $10,000 a month. I'm not quite there yet. I lost in after my second month, I made 420 US dollars from this app. So we're getting there. And every day I'm getting new users. The referrals on this are ridiculous. There's a lot of small businesses in the CBD that absolutely love the product and are always bragging about it to their friends. And I also give people free credits for referring this to their friends. So here's a very quick example of basically what you can build. Do we have something? Do we have a message? No? I want to quickly show you just how easy this is. Just give me 5 minutes to show you that this is now so easy. We are going to build right now an app that makes music based on our user's prompt. So this is my workflow. I do this all the time. 19 apps I've built this year. This is all I do. I'm going to show you. Let me share my screen. So what you want to do is you want to start with Lovable. Lovable is probably the easiest. We've also, at our company, created Dala. So dala.kabea.com, but just for the sake of this presentation, we use Lovable. So I'm just going to sign in. Now, Lovable is really expensive. Like, it's one of the best platforms out there, but it's really expensive. You get 5 free credits every day. And I'm going to show you how you can hack Lovable to get what you want. I was actually building something earlier. Let me just go. All right. So you can simply type in what you want here. This is vibe coding. If you haven't already seen it, please watch some YouTube videos. I have already loaded a prompt. I usually get AI to just help me quickly put something together. And the prompt is like, we're building a simple AI music generator app called Bad Beats. It's inspired by platforms like Suno and Udio, where users enter a prompt and create a single page application, all that. Basically, you just describe the app that you want. Then you put that into Lovable. Now, while we're waiting for Lovable to do its thing, because it usually takes about a minute or so for the first run, I want to show you where I've gotten my API. So over here, this is Kai AI. It's one of the platforms where you can get access to APIs. Now here in particular, you can go to the models market. So there's all sorts of APIs, whether you want video, you want images, you want whatever models are out there that are popular, they usually have them here. And then you can track the usage of your API, how much you're spending, and so on and so forth. This is one of the ones that I use. And here I have my API key. Don't share your API key with anyone. Like, that's why it's always hidden, because if someone gets access to your API key, they're going to go and use that key, and then you're going to get a nice fat big bill at the end of the month, which you probably won't be very happy about. Okay, once you've got your API key, you come back to Lovable here. The good thing about Lovable is that it simplifies the edge functions. Now, I'm a bit more advanced now, so I usually just only build a wireframe in Lovable, and then I move everything to GitHub. And then from GitHub, I fire up my cursor. Cursor is just a much more advanced AI building platform, and you get a lot more control. So I'm very comfortable with apps like Superbase, which is what I use to host my back end. But if you're new and all of this sounds like jargon, just stick here with Lovable. Lovable will do the needful. It will even create the back end for you. All right. While it's quickly building, can I get some questions that I can answer quickly? Any questions? Just go off mute, because I'm not going to be able to see the screen.
GM.
Yes, there was a bit of reverb.
Yeah, I'm the technical guy, so the sound came from my monitoring. Anyway, so one of the people in the room usually says, I mean, vibe coding is amazing, but you can't vibe code if you don't know any code. And that's the question. Like, is it possible to build or ship products for market if you don't know anything about code?
Well, if my example doesn't suffice, then I don't know because I literally don't know how to code. I have not written one line, not one, and I have 55,000 users on an app I built alone. So I do get it. Let me also mention that it is an advantage. Think of it like driving a car. You don't really need to know how the carburetor works, how the differential works, all these inner workings of a car. But should that time come when your car just stops and you really need to get somewhere, you'll be glad that you actually do know, right? That maybe this is a fuel pump issue, or I've run out of engine oil. There are times when you will get stuck. All I'm experiencing now is that from January to December, the ability of the AI to figure out what's wrong has just increased dramatically. So again, I will always give props to people that can code, because kudos to them. They will probably be able to debug. All right. So here we are. We're back to, we've got our bad beats. We've got the point where we put in our request. So let's just say I want an R&B song because Moromoto was playing these earlier. 90s style about a heartbreak. Okay, let's put that now. Generate beat. So you see now, that is not an R&B song from the 90s. And why? That's because we haven't connected our API yet. So what Lovable does is that it puts in dummy or mock data. But now all we have to do here is say, I want to use my Suno API for the generation. Simple as that. And then it will allow you to enter that API key that you copied from your API management dashboard. All right, so now you just have to allow for Lovable Cloud. Now, I want you to start thinking about all the possibilities of all the APIs that you know already. Like Nano Banana is huge. We have Gemini 3. We have, right here, so it says Suno API key. Actually, I don't have it here. Let me copy it again. All right, submit. Never save. And think about all the possibilities. Like you could decide today, right now, that I want to create an app that allows parents to create children's books, creating characters using their children's image, right? So now you put in your child's picture, and then it makes a Pixar 3D Disney animated book about your child and their best friends, right? That could be an example, and you could easily charge parents, like 2,000 shillings after you've printed that book at the local cyber, right, and delivered it to them. That's one idea. Or you could do this, right? You can tell people, make a song for your girlfriend for Valentine's Day, just pay 150 shillings. And you'll find that all you have to do is figure out what's the cost of the API call. So usually they'll tell you something like creating an image will cost anything between 3 cents to 8 cents US dollar. And then you have to figure out, okay, what's the margin that I put on top of that for people accessing that API through my app? And there you start to figure out, okay, that's how much I can charge and make a meaningful profit at the end of my endeavor. Okay, we're almost done here. If you have an idea already, hey, and you're not scared like many Kenyans to share your idea, what are you thinking you're going to build? Put it in the comments. All right, the Suno API has been integrated. All right, I want an R&B song, 90s style. I do not have access permissions. Major. And this is the part where you check your edge functions to see where you went. No, I don't have access permissions. Sorry, wrong API key. API. Just all right. So I'm not going to do that now because it's going to take a lot of time for me to update my card details and stuff. But you guys get the idea. Just like that, very quickly connect an API and it's able to actually deliver value. And once you put a couple of these APIs forever, because every time you're looking at a challenge that someone is facing, you're constantly thinking, I know just the API. I can package this into an app and make people pay for it. Yes, event ticketing charge. Event ticketing is very popular in Kenya, I've noticed. But yeah, rent collecting agent, real world asset. You guys are really good. Yeah. These are all really good examples. And I want you to think of the kind of tools and APIs you would use to actually make that happen. That's where the real value is. Whether you're talking about farmers who need to diagnose their crop diseases in real time just by taking a photo, or even helping teachers to create books for their students in places where they don't have access to textbooks. All of this can be done now. And I want to see all of you in this room who are listening to this, please go out and make useful AI applications. ChatGPT is not the whole world. We need to make AI apps that are relevant to our context here in Africa. And the only people who can build that is us Africans. Thank you.
That was amazing, guys. Please ask questions if you want to go and try out Butternut. Please ask for a link so that you can start trying it out. You get a bunch of free credits to try it out. Thank you, Martin. Always a pleasure. I don't know, every 2 weeks you go away and you come back with new solutions and new opportunities for us to always tap into. And I swear, if on ground, guys, put your hands together for Mr. Martin. Yeah, check him out, follow him on socials. If you have any ideas, I'm sure Martin is always somebody that is looking to have interesting conversations. So please DM him, Martin. You can drop your links to X and Twitter and TikTok. So guys who would like to follow you and tag along the journey can be able to do that. So guys, how do you where to plug in? You have everything working for you. Where do you plug in tokenomics, that kind of thing, right? So we want to talk to Miss Pratipa, one of the most capable developers I know. Miss Pratipa, please drop your GitHub repo in the chats. If they don't believe me, he's committed to the commit, and that lends her to work with very many protocols and ecosystems that are in that are growing in Africa. So yeah, without further ado, I'll bring up Miss Pratipa to speak about her vast experience and also show us how we can take the technology into Web3. Well, shared ownership, transparency, and security are the bread and butter. Miss Pratipa, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Aziz. And yeah, maybe I will share my GitHub repo. But I always believe my Twitter profile is much more better because it has everything that you might need. My repo might have some few projects, but maybe that won't help you so much. So let me just drop my Twitter link. Yeah, so I think the last time, if you were here, the last time we were dealing with blockchain 101, we went through on how what blockchain is, how it can impact your daily life. And also for today, we are also going to see how that blockchain can also impact your various day-to-day activities now interlinking blockchain and AI. So most of you might be wondering, where is blockchain getting into AI? Are those not like one of the most emerging technologies? How can they merge and why should they merge? So, for one thing, is you might understand is blockchain is meant to uplift the community. It's meant to change how people create their own systems or their own decentralized applications. And AI is meant to change how the systems are interacted by the humans. So, for example, like right now, maybe you just drop in the comments if you want to find something, let's say, to do with let me just do something. If you want to know what has happened in Nairobi CBD currently right now, what do you do? Drop in the chat. What do you do if you want to know? Like right now, somebody just asked you what's happening in Nairobi CBD. What do you do? Where do you go to first? Just drop in the comment. You can also unmute. Waiting. And as I always say, I like my sessions very interactive because if you don't interact, I don't know if you're there and I can't know how to help you best. And I'll start calling out names. Okay, perfect. So let's see. Rain, what will you do? If I asked you today what's happening on Nairobi CBD currently, what will you do? It's a very open question. Mr. Clinton, you also see Sozi has been very consistent into these meetings. What will you do? What's your first thing? Litos, I also see you. Yeah, I'm asking if somebody asked you what's happening currently on CBD, on Nairobi CBD, what would you do? Like, what's your first? place to go and look out what's happening on Nairobi CBD. Mr. Clinton, I see you. Check on X. Rain, I'm still waiting for you. Steve Asumba, I'm still waiting for your opinion. Come on, guys. NGC, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, yeah. Somebody else. Somebody else. Okay, let's go with that. So let's go with those two people who have said. Mr. Clinton has said he will go to X. Sozi has said she will go to NGC. Now I pose a question to you. How sure are you that the information that you receive either from X or NGC is actually real? Like, how can you prove that it's actually real? And also, I'll stretch it out further. If you go right now to ChatGPT and ask it, populate for me the highest income people, let's say in AI currently in Kenya, how sure are you that it's giving you the right data? Mhm. Right nowadays, even for Martin, you can also chip in here because you've been also in the session before. When you're trying to communicate with those LLMs, how much of trust are you giving to that LLM? How much trust? Like, for example, if you just search right now, and you don't know anything, let's say about legal, or you don't know anything, let's say about biology, and you ask the Chat GPT, I'm feeling a stomach X in the center middle of my stomach. Could you give me remedies on how I can be able to sort myself out? At least I stop feeling pain. Maybe if it persists, maybe I can go to the hospital. And the first thing ChatGPT will tell you is maybe take some medicine. And maybe you go to the pharmacy and you take that medicine. And trust you me, you can't sue. I don't know if right now you can sue ChatGPT for them for giving you wrong data, because at the end of the day, you trust that particular system. You trust that it gives you more information. But at the end of the day, who has proved that indeed that particular information is true? So that's where the interlinkage between blockchain and AI comes into. AI gives out the output and the systems, and then AI brings about the verifiability of it. And with that, let me begin my presentation. Okay. So you also see even with me, I've just used a very good AI platform, which is called Gamma, to just populate the slides today.
Can
And
I
yeah,
can I say, like, medical advice is absolutely the last thing you should be asking AI for. And I'm not sure you can sue them. But no, let's not do that.
yes, please, guys. Just the same way you always joke in the memes and say, Google can just make you die or can give you stress so much when you just ask it. Like, I'm having a headache, and Google tells you I have cancer. It's the same thing that happens. So there's the reason why there's also new solutions coming up, whereby there'll be a time maybe where you might trust an AI prompt or an AI response that comes out of these LLMs. So I hope by now you've at least understood, like, the different AI cloud. Some of you use DeepSeek, some of you use, I don't know, there are so many right now. And there's a new influx of something that I'm introducing today. It's called the ecosystem of verifiable agents. It's what I've just told you right now. It's happening right now. Maybe you don't know this, but a lot of builders use AI day to day. It's happening that right now AI has reached a point whereby there's different aspects that we have things like MCP that Martin has talked about. Different. If you've been onto YouTube trying to see what's happening in Kenya into AI, you've seen a team that's there are also builders that use MCP. trying to build a help app or trying in help and the help tool and trying to find how they can solve that using AI. And at the end of the day, is it means that in 2 to 3 years, it means that definitely most of your work or most of the things that you do day to day will be run by an AI. Affect the information that you're going to get into, and that's why there is verifiable agents right now. So how do you ensure that the agents decisions? Okay, so currently right now, as I've told you, like in 2026, there's going to be a lot of in search of AI agents. Currently, it's happening right now. I'm sure you've seen AI agents that also try to send an email or look out at your calendar and look out at what an AI agent says. Let's say I have like 3 meetings, and then somebody sends me an email. They're like, I want to schedule a call with you at 6:30, and then the AI agent checks back to my Google Calendar. The AI agent replies to the person who's texting me, Refa has a meeting at 6:30. Do you think 8:30 could work for you? And yeah, the person replies, yes, it could work for me. And then the AI agent schedules the meetup from your phone or from your laptop. So there's also the deep side of also the usage of AI. There's something called or I've also benefited from something that's called trading agents. Some of you, I'm sure known this. For like Suzy has said, she's been in market and also the crypto market, telling you that we have bots, and those bots can clearly see how the market is going on, and they can advise you on how profit. Be careful with that also. And also in the blockchain side, there's something that you call a centralized exchange, and also there's a decentralized exchange. And also there's a decentralized exchange just like Binance, whereby they handle your private keys, which this is like just your private key in your APIs. And essentially that means that they can hold your cash when maybe decentralized exchange is whereby you are able to manage your funds in that particular exchange. When you trade and when you trade, and let's say you trade, so is just is just using some chains that also do that particular of action. There's something called prediction markets that you might have heard, but you might be thinking, what's ideas? I'm giving you ideas on what you build. We're also going to look on how that can be affected. It can be used to create a verifiable agent system. So prediction markets is currently, if I asked everyone in this room, is if Ruto is going to get to 2 trillion, each person is going to have their own opinion, which they're entitled to. But this means that there are a lot of information that runs can we be able to prevent corruption in Kenya at a very high scale? Everybody is going to have their own opinion of it, and that is what is called prediction markets, whereby opinion they can be able to predict a form of governance whereby we use NFTs, whereby if you own an NFT in an auction setting, you can be able to have votes, or you can be able to be delegated vote on that proposal. And if you're doing something within the DAO, then that means that if that proposal pass under these certain conditions, you can be able to do that activity within a DAO. So how does that link up with the AA agent? It means that of proposals, it will be transacting a lot of governance decisions that it might need to be able, or the delegates might be able to ensure that these decisions are fair, just, and also they are decentralized. And this is where maybe Builder DAO one day will decide to create an AI agents that now decide that the auditing, it also looks at the contributors, and the Builder DAO team should be able to trust these particular AI agents. But right now, some of the DAOs, they do use AI agents. Like one I know, it's called Grow Age. It's a women DAO, and you can't trust an AI agent if the AI agent doesn't have that verifiability aspect of it. Also with meme coins, if you know about meme coins, they are NFTs or tokens. I'd say they go with how people be able to acquire that meme coin. I'm sure you've heard of the Trump coin. So that's an example of meme coin. And how AI agents is airdrop at the end of the day. And if for example, if you think like a company has like to, let's say, 1 billion people of this meme coin, and in a just and a fair way, this is how it's going to be with AI agents in the next step of interlinkage between AI okay, just a minute. The bottleneck, which is how do you verify the AI agent, what resource exists when an AI agent violates its commitment, and what ensures continuity of that AI agent when it goes if that AI agent goes forever. So that's where now what I'm trying to introduce, which is called the deterministic inference, or which this is given by a chain that's already there, which is called eigenlayer. So what does eigenlayer do in terms of AI agents? As a chain, eigenlayer does a lot of things, but today I'm just going to be concentrative on what happens within just the AI agents. That means that if an AI agent is going to communicate with another AI agent or an LLM, it's going to ensure that the data that's being given out, it's going to be verified. And what I mean by verified is it's proven that indeed that data is going to be true, and it's used to be true by using technology or a tool that's called deterministic interference, whereby AI agents in 2 to 3 years, AI agents could not only because and these servers could be powered by like the chips by NVIDIA, but it means at the end of the day they are not verifiable. And to be able to switch these particular servers to be verifiable, verifiable is they will use like if you check out on your laptop with something called Intel. So they will use Intel chips, and these chips will be using a technology executable environment. And this is what enables that server to be able to generate a proof, and that proof now you receive a verified response from now the LLM or the AI agents that you're working with. So essentially, the deterministic interference, it ensures that the query model to the query to a model what you give out is what you receive, and for what you've asked, it doesn't go to another model that it's not within that particular chain at the end of the day. So I'll also be checking out if we have any questions. Please don't fail to ask. So within eigenlayer, there is also something that's called AVS, which is a verifiable service. People who are going to interact with this verifiable service will be staking their particular token, and then if you want to do like some malicious activity, there's going to be like a penalty which is called slashing. So this will essentially ensure that those people who interact with this the base layer of eigenlayer, if you have any malicious activities, like you're trying to give out you're trying to give out a proof that's not verified, you can be able to be slashed. And that means if you are slashed, then the amount that you've taken, or the amount that you've staked in this particular chain layer, it's going also to be slashed, and you want to be agreed to work with the eigenlayer protocol. I just want you to understand, like, at the end of the day, it's not an implication of the person who doesn't get it right, like they go scot-free. At the end of the day, there's going to be a penalty to that person who brings these decentralized servers and try to make any malicious activity within that. So it's definitely incentivized. It has competition, just like how the blockchain system works, and it definitely goes at the end of the day, as Martin had said, there are different aspects of agents. So there is a personal agent, there's a collective agent, and there's a sovereign agent. Individual use like entertainment or code assistance. So this is just like how you go to chat GPT and you ask for it about a question, or just the simple one I described of you trying to schedule an email or schedule your Google Calendar without you being there. There's another step whereby there's the collective agents, whereby these agents delegate assets to other agents. So, for example, at the end of the day, you can find that you're trying using now the API that Martin also spoke up, communicate with a different agent. So, let's say, for example, let's go deep. You're trying to communicate now your email with your TikTok account. This means at the end of the day, this other side of you scheduling calls using Google Calendar and Gmail, you will also have to access another agent that communicates now with TikTok. Okay, so let's say, for example, you have TikTok messages on your TikTok DMs, and then you have messages on your so you create messages from Gmail, which then interacts with your TikTok account. the Google Calendar. And then this other side of the TikTok, you're generating either the Gmail or the Google Calendar at the end of the day. Now we go, there's a higher level that's called the sovereign agents, which it's mostly currently it's most used most people, I think mostly most of the people, they are either the personal agents or collective agents. Most people have not yet been on the sovereign agents. So the sovereign agents, they are fully autonomous and economic actors living independently, and so at the end of the day, the difference between the collective agents and the sovereign agents is the sovereign agents, they never at any point have any human interaction. In the collective agents, you could have collective agents, at least you have a minimal kind of access, whereby you're the person who's maybe texting the person on the TikTok DMs, or you're the person who's initiating the conversation. On sovereign agents, it's agents don't want to see in this life that's coming next, whereby for you to be seated as a CEO, whereby in a hierarchical level, it will be a CEO on top of the food chain. Let's say if we having let's us not use names. Let's say you're having a company that does foods. The whole ecosystem is run place to your employees, to your delivery, to your accounts, to your finance, to everything. It's just AI agents, and that that is what works for the website. Okay, you as a person, you don't need to even tell the agent that you're feeling hungry. So I'm trying to blow your minds here, whereby you see everything that you're trying to do that it. So let's take it deeper. Okay, right now I'm Bratipa. Okay, my AI agents. So I have maybe a watch with me, let's say like a smartwatch. Okay, and it's tracking how my body works. Okay, and what happens is that watch is tracks. Okay, Bratipa is feeling hungry, and there's an AI agent within that smartwatch, and that smartwatch, because it has already seen either my insulin levels are going low, or I'm feeling hungry, and with using that, then it determines that okay, Bratipa is hungry, and it goes by we have a human being, we have a person or another AI agent that wants to be taken food to this particular location, with that particular aspect. Then the KFC AI agent has already provided for the employees. With that particular aspect, then the KFC AI agent, which is managing the whole franchise of KFC, determines and sees that okay, within my system, I have 10 locations that are maybe somewhat close to this other AI agent in this other location. It happens that location 1 is the best location for this particular other AI agent for me to deliver. It connects to that AI agent of another company that is the delivery app company that is communicating with that AI agent. And then it communicates that I have a delivery for AI agent 2, and take it to AI agent 1, which was for the human being. And then it communicates that I have a delivery for AI agent 2 and take it to AI agent 1. Does that make sense? Hope I've not lost you there. out level of AI agents, maybe just give a clap or something, a reaction will be good. But essentially, AI agents. Yes, nice, Susie. I hope it's not a question. I hope it's a reaction. Perfect, perfect. So after now there's the delivery AI agent, and that AI agent will now tell this AI agent one for the human being waiting for the food, this particular person is going to give you, but whatever that you're doing right now, it's been done by an AI agent at the end of the day. Now, currently, right now, it means that okay, I think I was lost there. Yeah. Okay, I was trying to explain on the personal agents. So the Eigen layer, or the what they are happening right now, they are not verifiable, and they are not and they are also unstoppable. Okay, so it means that if that AI agent could go rogue, nobody could have power over it. Collective agents, you see people saying that maybe these agents one day they will overpower us and we will not have power over them, and they might make their own system. At the end of the day, we don't have AI, which is done by the AI Eigen layer protocol. So on the collective agents, which these then they are verifiable right now, and also they are still unstoppable. But now on the sovereign agents, which currently within Eigenlayer, they are verifiable, and they are also um, they're also stoppable. Okay, hope we are going together. Okay, so hopefully you've also understood. You might ask, who are these people who are using these things currently? Like, I mean, I thought we are just, we are here learning about agents. Why are we talking about people who are using now these agents? So there are different companies that are doing this, including Coinbase, including prediction markets like something like one of the blockchain protocols that called Celo African, Celo, the chain that you know, which is Celo. The data layer is being undertaken by the Egin layer, which has a component of storage called Eigen. So it goes along computing aspect. When I'm speaking about the computing aspect, is the cloud computing aspect, which essentially that is what that connects to technology that I spoke about. But I don't want to go deep because essentially this all the for you to understand the Eigen layer, it has to take you time. I just need you to concentrate on the agents and just to see how that can be able to look like. So I did a small coding just to show you how that can happen. And yeah, so here it is. So if you are not a developer, very sorry, but I'm going to explain it in a very, very, very simple way that maybe you can understand. And don't worry, I know it just happened, but I'll describe to you what's happening. Okay. So what you're trying to do here right now is create an MCP server. An MCP server is under the collective APIs, and APIs are these pathways that are used to communicate from one end of an application to another end of an application. So, for example, if TikTok would want to communicate to Chat GPT, they use an API. If for you right now, if your app wants to communicate with like the Google Maps, they use an API, and that's like the pathway that apps do use to communicate with each and every other app to be able to so here we just tried to do a simple server, which is an eigenlayer server, whereby at the end of the day you can be able to it to cloud. Cloud is also an LLM. It's just the same like ChatGPT or any other LLM that you ask for chats and response. Okay, back again. Okay, so what happens is, for example, for you right now, if you wanted to read a 500-page book and you wanted to read that under 1 hour, what you will do is and then chat book into you and tell it summarize to you into 1 hour. So what you're trying to do here in this is tell this server for the eigenlayer information or storage what's happening within the eigenlayer. Can you hear me? Just react if you can hear me. Just felt like there's some noise in the background. Oh, okay, okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, perfect. Okay. So essentially what happens here within the code is we created an MCP server. So this particular code, and you can just even view yourself, you can go and put it in ChatGPT and let it explain it to you. But we've created an MCP server which is called the Eigenlayer MCP server, using now the architectural layer of and we are also going to give you a verifiable service name. So this verifiable service is the one that ensures that there's verifiability in an agent. Okay, so if you don't use an AVS, that means that your agent won't be verifiable. It will just be the same agent as what's there is in the market currently, which means it won't be verified. So here we also are now we are able to connect now the cloud section, which is the cloud LLM. And for us, as I've told you before, for another and then we are using it to connect to the eigenlayer API. Okay, So as Martin had said before, don't share out your API keys. But for this case, I'll just show you the API keys, but I'll delete them on my end. So what happens right now is we tell the have taken some information from the eigen layer and we have given you that we want you to put it into a method or a well-structured response that I can be able to understand what is eigen layer. And essentially that's what we've just done. What I just wanted to say at that time is there isn't always this part of get AVS. There isn't always that part of you seeing that this particular agent has gone through a process that happens within the AI agent to be and available service that ensures that at the end of the day you are getting a verifiable service that ensures that at the end of the day you are getting a verified output a cloud server that has been given to me, and I'm also using a specific so essentially what happens is if the cloud API that I'm using, which is cloud 3 dash 7 sonnet, I'm also using it with the other eigen application to get the eigen layer information. So here is whereby it gets tricky, or hereby is how we are able to ensure that other cloud AI LLM, okay, and also another server that doesn't have access to this AVS. Then you will be slash information that you're supposed to get, because remember at the end of AI agent, it means servers can be able to access that information, and only those allowed servers can be able to give out that particular information out. So agent is built on top of AVS, which is also on top of verifiable service agent, and in between them they give out information, and that is proved, and it's also verified. If another agent comes from somewhere, and it wants to give out an output that's not meant for you to see, also at the end of the day it means that you can't also get that information. That particular output that's not meant for you to see. Also at the end of the day, there's a deeper aspect whereby these AI agents are being made for you to ensure that even the information that's happening at the end of the day, i- it's information that goes through these parameters, and that information is also proved. And it goes to an aspect of, it's not only proved just by the system, but it's also proved according to the law of the land, which means that if this AI agents cannot give out users information on health matters to this particular level, then at the end of the day it means that you can't also get that information, even if you're using an AI. That makes sense. But at the end of the day, I wanted just to show you that in simple terms, mbele iko sawa, as Kenyans say, as politicians say. And also you can also be part of that change, and also being in a DAO that you can be able to ensure that
Miss Pratipa, I think your microphone went offline. Miss Pratipa. Miss Pratipa, are you there? Yeah, guys. So yeah, I think she dropped off. Network issues here in Kenya. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that there was a bit of a technical issue on TikTok and on LinkedIn. I wasn't aware. Thank you. I thought all through the campaign you guys could hear what the call was about. So I'll have to put up the videos. You can check them out on YouTube. Please stay around for the announcement. We're going to be going to Nyanyuki, and it's an amazing, 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 amazing opportunity. I think Miss Pratipa is back in the room. Would you like to take back the mic and finish up?
Yes. Oh my. I've just found out after I finished. That's when I wasn't speaking to you guys. But where did we reach? Maybe someone could catch me up. Hopefully, we had spoken about the AI agents and how that can affect the current agent economy. Where had we reached?
Yes, you cut off at the last minute. I think that was 2, 3 minutes. So as soon as you dropped off, we caught it.
Okay. So as I'd said, I'm willing to, and I'm also creating AI agents that are end of the day. So within Eigen layer, there's Eigen tribe, whereby people also learn on how to build on how to build this platform. You can also be a content creator within Eigen layer and also teach other people on how verifiable agent economy. And yeah, definitely there's always incentives in blockchain. I always say if you build, if you give value, there's also rewards at the end of the day. So I'm looking at people building finance decentralized applications that respond to using oracles that are not verified. I'm looking at people creating AI assisted justice systems that have governance at scale and also that obey the law of the land, meaning that we can create an AI agent whereby not only does it obey the verifiability of the system, but it also understand or also obeys the verifiability of of the laws that are happening right now. For example, you could say if there is a law of the land that you cannot create or interact with a startup that's not tax compliant, it means that that AI agent will also respect that. And at the end of the day, we can create a system whereby it not only do we not have respect to the AI agents, but also the AI agents can have respect of what we stand for and what we believe in. And that's it on my end. So I don't know if Aziz is in the meeting, but I've just finished up. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. And okay,
Thank
yeah.
you, thank you so much, Miss Bratipa. It looks like a lot of people have a network issue today, but it's fine. Excuse me. If you have any questions, kindly do ask in the chat or raise your hand. And 5 minutes, guys. If you have any questions, kindly ask if it's towards Miss Bratipa or to Martin in his absentia. It seems like nobody has a question. Um, Thank you, Miss Pratipa, for sharing the link. Guys, kindly check out the chat so that you can get more information. And then thank you guys for joining us today. Mutu Mutu, I don't know if you can hear me. Hello, hello, Mutu Mutu, can you hear me? Okay, as we wait for Moto Moto,
Damn it, wrong sound. Yeah, sorry. I had to turn off my sound. I had to move between screens. Yes. Yeah. It's been an amazing bonanza from start to finish, and yeah, I've been listening in. So don't imagine that I didn't hear what you when you were calling me the first time. Yes, Miss Lulu had to step aside for an exam, and you'd think some of these things are pre-planned, but well, it just so happens that today was that day, and she wasn't able to speak. But we were really looking forward to you also seeing, the the replets and the Lava Bowl and the Bolt. Most recently, Bolt had a hackathon that I think they had $1 million pot for, and the winner created a video editing platform using AI from scratch. I mean, it's an amazing, amazing, amazing time to be in the ecosystem and um, working with with AI. I mean,